Surprise! You thought you were getting BJ today, but nope! Instead, you get the crazy lady who helps him keep up with your requests during his streams. I'm Roshitsu Rises, but you can just call me Danny. I'm here because some of you showed interest in me hosting one of these videos, so here I am. And today, I'm talking about a character who I've loved since I was a little girl. The Jester of Dreams who dances through the skies and protects kids from nightmares, giving them the courage to face their problems in reality. NiGHTS. Developed by the same people who made the Blue Blur, you might have seen this purple clown as a background character in other Sega titles. I won't be too surprised if not a lot of you had actually heard of this guy though. Premiering in the mid-90s on the floundering Sega Saturn, and then going radio silent for over a decade before getting a subpar sequel for the Wii, only to go back to being a background character for another decade. Nowadays, NiGHTS is sitting on the sidelines for Sega's next round of party games. You know, pretty much like Princess Daisy.
At least Daisy got into Smash.
NiGHTS is a nightmare made by the master of nightmares, Wise Man the Wicked. Born to be his right hand as the evil lord conquers the world of dreams, Nightopia. However, NiGHTS really didn't like that plan, and chose the path of free will and a carefree lifestyle instead, teaming up with several courageous children known as visitors to instead thwart the wise man's wicked schemes. They did this by borrowing power from the visitors that they dualized with, specifically using the dream energy known as Idia. And NiGHTS will be borrowing that same power as they soar their way onto the Smash battlefield. NiGHTS could be a fairly acrobatic lightweight character. They'd have an astonishing 7 jumps total, but they would have no additional movement options. For NiGHTS' jab, they could do a one-hit attack that has them do a simple little kick. It comes out kinda quick, but it isn't very strong. Their dash attack will be a short-range, pathetic little push with both hands that halts all forward momentum. The side tilt could be a kind of weak horizontal stretch kick. The up tilt could have NiGHTS do a wimpy little uppercut. The down tilt could have them do a feeble little low to the ground horizontal hand slap. Their side smash could have NiGHTS do a short-range roundhouse kick. This move can hit a little higher, but it's probably going to miss foes that are shorter or even crouching. The up smash could be a quick but frail jumping headbutt, and the down smash could be a kind of sluggish axe kick, one that can only hit towards the front. You know what? These attacks are bad. Yeah, no, these are not gonna fly. But I know what will fly. And that will be NiGHTS themselves. NiGHTS is a game that's all about being in the air after all. The only time when you're on the ground is when you're controlling the child who is separated from NiGHTS. And surprise, surprise, they're helpless. So to reflect this in Smash, NiGHTS will be a character that should not be on the ground. They should always be in the air. Pretty much a reverse Little Mac. And to better help their aerial combat style, NiGHTS will have a gimmick to better complement this fighting style. So before we continue with the remainder of the moveset, let's get the gimmick out of the way first. As you might recall, I said that NiGHTS will have a whopping 7 jumps in total. This of course reflects their natural ability to fly, but that's not all there is to it. So you know Daisy, and Peach for that matter? Well, NiGHTS will have a near identical gimmick to them, being able to float for 3 seconds at a time, as well as moving horizontally right or left while doing so. You'll also be able to float at ground level by crouching, then holding the jump button. Again, just like Peach and Daisy. Unlike the princesses, however, NiGHTS will be able to float after every single jump. So yes, NiGHTS would have the ability to pretty much remain in the air for long periods of time, just as they should be. And all of their best attacks will be the ones NiGHTS uses while in the air. NiGHTS is known for flying, and on top of being a clown, they're also an acrobat. This guy's the entire circus! During levels in NiGHTS Into Dreams, NiGHTS can fly through these rings known as power loops, and when they do, they enter a state where the player can rack up points by having NiGHTS do a large variety of different flips and tricks. These acrobatic tricks can be what Knights uses for their aerial attacks. Knights' neutral air could have them use the Sonic trick, where Knights curls up in a ball, turns blue, and spins multiple times erratically. Yeah, I'm kidding. Well, about the turning blue part anyway. Everything else, though, is true. Remember, guys, Sonic Team developed Knights. This move will deal a lot of multiple hits of flinching damage before launching with the final hit. Their forward air could have them use the Twister trick, which is Knights spin in horizontal circles while they hold their arms out. They only did one spin in the original game, but here they'll spin a lot, so it'll be another move that hits lots of times before launching with the final hit. So again, kinda like Sonic. Sonic Team, that's my excuse. The back air can have Knights use the Parasol trick, which will have them quickly spin vertically with one leg sticking out, having that leg swing backwards to hit foes behind Knights. This move comes out quick and has some pretty good kill potential. The up air will have Knights do the rock and roll trick, but instead of jamming out to rush, Knights will just do a simple backflip kick. Another move with pretty high kill potential and covers a decent amount of space above Knights. And the down air will have Knights do the drill trick, which will have them spin multiple vertical circles with their arms held up and their feet pointed down. Yet another move that hits multiple times before ending with a launching hit. Now I know what you guys are thinking. A character with only 4 good moves that can be used in the air? That's pretty bad. And you're right, that would be bad. If they only have 4 moves to use. I didn't bring this up before, but Knights does have a second part to their air game gimmick. The 5 aerials that I just talked about will only happen while Knights is falling. However, if you use the same commands while Knights is floating, they'll use completely different moves. This will allow Knights to have a wider arsenal of attacks while airborne than any other character in the game, and would pretty much give you no excuse to ever want to be on the ground. So instead of just calling them aerials, I'll refer to these attacks as floats, just to make it less confusing. So with that said, for Knights' neutral float attack, they'll put on their red shoes and dance the blues with their dance trick, which will have them do the splits and spin in multiple vertical circles. This move can only hit foes once before knocking them away, but it hits hard. Their forward float attack will have them do the moon trick, which has them do a single dolphin arching front flip, turning their whole body into a hitbox while knocking foes away when they make contact. The back float attack will have Knights take a gamble with the roulette trick, where they'll do a single cartwheel while kicking their legs towards the back. This is a move that comes out a little slower than their normal back aerial, but it's also much stronger. Knights' up float can be the boomerang trick, which will have them do 3 quick front flips while kicking their feet into the air. This move can technically hit all around, but the hitboxes on the lower parts of the attack will act as a sour spot. All the real damage comes from the higher half of the attack. This attack could also have a unique function where using it will slightly propel Knights upwards a little bit, giving them even more height. Cause that's exactly what Knights needs. Gotta keep them in the air. And the down float attack can have Knights use the V-fall trick, which is of course kind of like boomerang, but it will send Knights downwards instead. And of course, the strongest points of the attack will be a reverse from the up float. See, I gave him one that sends him higher and one that sends him lower, so that balances it out, right? Now that's all well and good, but having 10 aerial attacks can only get you so far. These float attacks will come out when you simply tilt the control stick and then tap the attack button, just like you would do tilt attacks. However, if you smash the control stick and the attack button at the same time, instead, just like you would for a smash attack, Knights will do what is the equivalent of an aerial smash attack. And again, just as a reminder, Knights will only do this while they're in the 3-second float state. These moves will generally be slower than all of their other aerials, but of course, as a trade, they will be powerful. Also, unlike normal smash attacks, you cannot charge these up. These are just the equivalent of a much stronger aerials, something like you'd see from Bowser or Ganondorf. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but Knights can also transform. Anything can happen in a dream after all, and they'll be using some of their transformations for all the floating smash attacks. For the floating side smash, Knights will transform their head into a dragon's beak and thrust forwards, in reference to when Knights wears the dragon persona in Journey of Dreams. Unlike other aerials, this is what Knights will use regardless of whether they're using it forwards or backwards. And if it's used backwards, it will actually turn Knights around. This attack hits hard and actually will propel Knights towards the direction they used it a little bit. But it does have some end lag. So much so that more than likely, Knights will start falling after using this move. And you'll need to jump again afterwards to stay in the air. The floating up smash will have Knights change their head into the tip of a rocket and thrust upwards. This references the rocket persona, also from Journey of Dreams. This attack hits just as hard as the dragon beak, but it will propel Knights upwards a little bit when used. And finally, as Knights' final attack, the floating down smash will have them morph their legs into a dolphin fin, just like they do in Knights into Dreams whenever they're submerged in water, as well as the dolphin persona in Journey, and swing their fin from back to front. This attack doesn't hit as hard as the other floating smash attacks, but it does have the capability to spike opponents in their sweet spot. I know a lot of this may seem overwhelming at first glance, but honestly, if you have even the most remote idea of how Peach and Daisy's aerial game functions, then a moveset like this shouldn't be that much of a problem to pick up. It's all really just about learning what attacks happen when. Once you grasp that, then the rest should be smooth sailing. Knights is going to have a pretty weak grab game. Kind of makes sense considering you'll only be able to grab while you're on the ground, which is where Knights is at their weakest. And I think letting Knights being able to grab in the air would be absolutely busted. So as such, Knights will grab with both hands and will then pummel with their knee, jabbing the foe. Now all of Knights' throws are going to be rather pathetic, not dealing a whole lot of damage and not sending foes very far at all, meaning that they will not have a single kill throw. But to compensate, all of their throws will slightly propel Knights into the air as they toss their caught foe, allowing them to get back to where they need to be if perhaps they were being pressured by the other player and completely flip the momentum of the match. Their forward throw could have Knights do a drilling push into the foe at a slightly upward angle, sending the foe forwards while also giving Knights a little bit of distance off the ground. The back throw will have Knights slightly float up while spinning with the foe in hand, then toss them back. This throw kind of makes reference to when Knights spins with a child that they're dualized with. The upward throw will have Knights lift the foe a little bit into the air, do a quick backflip, and then chuck them even higher into the air. And then for the down throw, we'll have Knights pick the foe off the ground again, but this time they'll do a quick spin with the foe in hand before throwing them into the ground. This throw will not send the foe anywhere once they hit the ground. It only deals damage. Now for Knights' special attacks, these will all be pretty basic, but will of course be great to add towards Knights' already large amount of options while in the air. Their neutral special will just be a quick spin attack. Think of Crash Bandicoot's Cyclone attack, a move that activates quickly and will hit foes once to knock them away. This would be a great get-off-me kind of tool, and is pretty much the only move that's relatively decent even when Knights is grounded. There is one more thing to mention about this attack, but it will only make sense once I explain the other specials, which are all going to be the same thing: gliding. Knights' side, up, and down specials will all have Knights break into a glide that will have them automatically fly into the direction that the control stick was pointing for 3 seconds at a time. You can control Knights while they glide, and they'll control just like they did in their original games. But since I know most of you are missing out and you've never played a Knights game in your life, which I highly recommend you all correct very soon, the best thing to compare the control of Knights would be how you control Ness's PK Thunder special, with it automatically moving in one direction and will turn when you point the control stick in a certain way. Now there's a few things that you can do during the 3 seconds while Knights is gliding. For one thing, this is not an attack. Foes will not get hurt if Knights just runs into them. However, this gets into that other thing that I was talking about with the neutral special. If you tap the special button while gliding, Knights will then perform the drill dash, having them zip straight into the direction they're facing while drilling. This will deal a lot of multiple flinching hits of damage, but that's all. It will not launch foes. But generally, foes with bad DI will be dragged along with this attack, so you could very well use it as an edge guarding tool to bring them into the blast zone if you wish. Also, at any point during the glide, you can press the attack button to have knights use one of their float tilt attacks. This of course cancels the gliding, but I should warn you, you can only glide once while you're in the air. So once you use it, you'll need to touch the ground again before you can use it again. But don't worry, it won't put you into free fall or anything like that. Just think of this as a makeshift 8th jump. Now there is one final thing to bring up with gliding. Knights will leave a sparkling trail behind as they fly. While this trail doesn't do anything by itself, you can use it to have knights use one of their most iconic attacks. If you have knights make a loop as they fly and create a circle with the sparkle trail, it will create a paraloop. The paraloops in the Knights games are what Knights uses to either damage enemies or even pull in orbs or items to increase your point count. For Smash, if Knights uses a paraloop, it will start what is effectively a small exploding black hole. It will automatically start a small suction towards the center of the loop, and then after a few seconds, it will cause a burst effect that can damage foes. The best thing to compare this kind of attack to would be to Sheik's Burst Grenade side special. The suction itself isn't very strong, and the burst only deals decent damage and knockback, but it's still not a move that you really want to be sleeping on. And if you do start sleeping on it, I can guarantee you'll find yourself with some dreadful nightmares. And leading those nightmares... Knights' fellow nightmare and sibling who did not defect from the Wicked Wise Man, Rialla. Rialla is pretty much just bad guy Knights, who's a lot cooler and creepier. Seriously, keep him away from the children!
Oh, how I've waited for this moment. The opportunity to get you all alone, dear visitor. Now, how exactly should I go about getting what I want?
This is a family channel! Anyway, Rialla will be identical to Knights, as even in the Knights games, Rialla is pretty much just Knights' carbon copy, with the only thing really separating them are their personalities and loyalty to Wise Man. Okay, technically Rialla does have unique attacks in Journey of Dreams, but I don't think they're really going to help him out in the aerial gimmicks, so we're just going to ignore those. This is going to be a case where Rialla is made into an Echo Fighter instead of a costume, because they'd have to have drastically different aesthetic animations and taunts, as what we're planning to give to Knights is just not going to work for Rialla. For Knights' final smash, it could make reference to the final battles of both games, having Knights duelize with both children and creating an exact copy of themselves. From there, the smash will work kind of like Cat and Anna's Assist Trophy, combined with Sonic's current Final Smash and Ultimate. Because again, Sonic Team! Poor Knights is never gonna escape the Hedgehog's shadow, will they? Anyways, it will have the dual Knights zip across the screen very quickly to rack up damage to all foes. Unlike Sonic's, you can't control this, but since there's two of them, they can cover much more area, so you wouldn't really need to. As for Rialla, they would have a cinematic final smash that would start with them snapping their fingers and creating a quick flash of light in front of themselves. Any caught foe will then be shown trapped in the same kind of cage that we see Rialla trapping Knights in during the Journey levels, and the screen will become nightmarish as suddenly Wise Man himself appears behind the caught foes, and he'll start barraging them with all kinds of deadly attacks. This attack will deal no knockback at all, but it will deal a lot of damage. And if your damage reaches past 100% before the cinematic ends, it's an automatic KO. I'm pretty sure that if Wise Man was attacking, he's going for the kill. Now for Knights' colors, we're actually going to be doing something interesting here. For one thing, there will be two costumes, with the default having Knights in their Journey of Dreams modern look, with an alternate costume showing them in their classic Into Dreams appearance. But that's not all there is to these outfits. I mentioned a few times before that for Knights to unleash their full potential, they need to borrow the power of Idia. which comes from the visitors. Visitors are effectively just people who are asleep, and while they dream, they enter Nightopia. Most people generally forget about their visit to Nightopia when they wake up, but a select few can remember their visit, namely those that happen to have exceptionally powerful Idia, the red Idia of courage. So far in the Knights universe, only 4 kids were ever shown to have this Idia, and these children will each be appearing among the 8 different costumes. So starting with the default Journey of Dreams look, this will have Knights be paired with the violinist and my least favorite kid of them all, Helen Cartwright. The next for the Journey outfit will turn Knights a shade of green, in reference to the green Idia of growth. For this color, Knights will be paired with the soccer player, wait, they're in Europe, football player who has daddy issues, Will Taylor.
He sleeps with his footballs like a weirdo!
Shut up, BJ. Anyways, the next color will have Knights paired with Helen and will give Knights the color of the white Idia of purity. Next we'll have Knights with Will, and will actually be given brown colors that reference Journey of Dreams' resident tutorial and exposition character, Owl. So now for the Into Dreams outfit, Knights of course will be paired with the 2 kids from that game instead. For the normal purple outfit, Knights will dualize with the singer with stage fright that she must overcome, Clarisse Sinclair. The first alternate color for this outfit will turn Knights red, in reference to both the red Idia of courage, but also to Christmas Knights, which is an outfit based off of the Christmas expansion. While in this color, Knights will be paired with the basketball player who is scared of losing, Elliot Edwards. The next will have Knights paired with Clarisse and will have blue colors to reference the blue Idia of intelligence. And the final color will have Knights with Elliot, and it will be in yellow, referencing the yellow Idia of hope. Now for Riala's colors, their default will have them in the Journey of Dreams outfit as well. Pretty much all of Riala's colors will be referencing the various Nightmare bosses that Knights must face over the course of the games. The first alternate color will give Riala the colors of the Hellhound Cerberus. The next will give them the colors of the Bouncing Clown, Don Balong. Next could have Riala with the colors of the cat-like witch, Bomamba. And for the remaining alts, this could have Riala in their Into Dreams attire. So for the first alternate colors, having them in the fan favorite Jackal. Literally Rayman before Rayman. The next could give them the colors of the original Bouncing Bunny Clown, Puffy. And the final color can give Riala the colors of the Dragon Gilway. For their intro animations, Knights can start with just their respective kids standing there, watching as Knights flies towards them, leading them to dualizing to prepare for the fight. Riala's can just have them slowly rising from their own dark paraloop portal from the ground with their arms crossed, snickering as they do so. For taunts, Knights can first have them stretching out their cheeks and giving everybody nightmares, just like we see them do during the opening cinematic of Into Dreams. Their second can have the kid that they're with temporarily separate while they spin with locked elbows, just like we see them do in Into Dreams whenever you return a stolen Idia to a temple. And their final could have Knights simply give a bow. Okay, I know BJ usually doesn't do this kind of thing, but he's not here, so I'm adding this anyway. If Riala is their opponent, Knights during this taunt will say, "You and me, 1-on-1." And speaking of Riala, their first taunt can have them pointing forwards, then hold out their arms and say, "Let's go." But if Knights happens to be their opponent, instead they'll say their classic yet misunderstood line, "Bidishi no Knights." It's a Japanese phrase which more or less translates to, "Come at me, bro." But us ignorant Westerners thought he had instead said, "There is no Knights." So take your pick on which line you enjoy. I prefer the "There is no Knights" one myself. And the taunt overall references Riala's pose right before you fight him in Into Dreams. The second taunt can have Riala simply cross their arms and do a creepy chuckle. And the final taunt can have them slightly crunch their body in while radiating a dark aura. During this, they'll say, "I'll deliver your heads to Master Wiseman myself." And to finish up with the victory animations, Knights' first can be the most iconic, having them fly in from off-screen while playing their invisible flute. The next can have Knights simply spin in a bunch of circles and then end in a pose, which is their victory animation after completing levels in Journey of Dreams. And the final can have knights separate from the child that they're dualized with and have both of them pose. And just to add a little extra something for you guys, because I like you a lot, I'll also add in an idea for a losing animation. If Knights loses a match, it won't actually show Knights, but instead the kid that he was dualized with just standing there in their pajamas looking groggy. In reference to how if you get a game over in Knights games, that's pretty much the equivalent to waking up. So for Smash, if Knights loses, then it just shows the kid as if they've just woken up. And finally, for Riala's victory poses, the first will have them create a dark paraloop on the ground and then hover over the center of it while posing as the dark aura of the portal surrounds them. For the next, I'm really pulling for this one. It could have Riala do a backflip and then a front flip, then pose just saying, "Master Wiseman will be most pleased." The flipping pose makes reference to the game Sega Superstars Tennis. And their final could have Riala do some very slow and creepy spins before ending in a pose while very sarcastically saying, "Pleasant dreams," before chuckling. You know, just to give the kids something to think about before they go to bed. And that does it for Knights and Riala as their Echo Fighter. Overall, I can see this character bringing a very unique twist to the aerial game, one that could be a ton of fun. Now, if only everyone could wake up and remember that this character even existed, then maybe they could have a slim chance at getting into Smash. But until that happens, I don't see Knights happening anytime soon, especially with the 3 Sega reps that we already have. Oh well, one can dream. Now, if you're interested in why I love these games so much, you could always check out my playthroughs of them over on our group channel, Spiffy Needle Geeks. Maybe I could intrigue some of you and help get this character out of obscurity. Anyways, if you liked what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support the show and be able to help BJ be able to make more content for you guys while also getting some perks for doing so, you can click the join button below to become a member of his channel. And of course, if you have a character that you'd like to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact BJ on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!